So what I have here is a transcription that I did in Guitar Pro 7. I'm going to open it up in Guitar Pro 8 in a second, but I wanted to show you one of the gripes that I have always had with Guitar Pro. So when you open design mode up here, design mode allows you to adjust how many bars fit on a line, how many measures you have on each line, and how you space those bars. So I can click and I can drag and I can adjust where things fall in the bar. Now, what you'll notice when I zoom right in on that, if I start to compress a bar, what happens is the notes, they crunch into each other, okay? And I guess the real issue that you tend to have is if you look at this grace note here, that never moves. That's always a fixed distance, and there comes a point where that grace note will just eat over the previous note. And this becomes trickier and trickier when you start introducing more and more grace notes. If I wrote something like this, I mean, you'd never play this, but this is how I'm going to do it. If I wanted all of these grace notes to rake into that, right? As soon as you want to place these notes close together, there's no compression here in these grace notes. So this ends up looking really, really messy. And when you look at my the ending of this transcription, you can see exactly what I mean. Let's jump all the way down here. There we go. So here, this is as tidy as I can make this look, because what happens is if I move this bar to the left, then all of these grace notes crunch into each other. But if I try and stretch them out and move them to the right, because I really want a little bit more space here, right? As I move over, well, now all of these grace notes over here crunch up. Okay, so maybe I have fewer bars on the line, but then that's not the way I want it to look. It doesn't. Design mode should allow you to design how things look as much as possible. Now, I appreciate that Guitar Pro isn't a score writing piece of software like Sibelius is that I have down here. Guitar Pro is a tab writing piece of software. It's not about engraving scores, it's just about getting something together. But design mode, working in my field, working in the transcription field, and having to prepare transcriptions for books and for artists who want to sell products to their end consumer, but their end consumers are guitar players, Guitar Pro is the best option for that. But that doesn't mean that our transcription should look dumb. So here we are in Guitar Pro 8. Now, when I click design mode in Guitar Pro 8, things look a little bit different. When I zoom in on this, you can now see we have lots more information. And when you hover over anything, we get arrows over every single aspect, or every single beat, if you like, in that bar. And I can now, I'm sure you can see exactly where this is going. I'm now in a position where I can actually customize and organize every single beat in the bar. Now, it's still not perfect, and I would like the guys at Guitar Pro to acknowledge this, because it still does deserve fixing. When I hover over this 9th fret note here, I can only select that note. I can't select the grace note, which still bugs me. I still think there's room for improvement there. But this does mean that we are in a position where we can actually start to move things around a little bit more to create space in a way that we want in our transcriptions, to have things display exactly as we'd like them to. If I need a little bit more room in that previous bar, I can now do that like this. Now, I wouldn't be able to do this before in Guitar Pro 7. So this is absolutely a vast improvement on what we have in what we had in Guitar Pro 7 to what we now have in Guitar Pro 8. Looking at that, that's tidy. I like that. I can control that. I like to flip my grace notes, which you do like this. I'm fine with that one like that. Let's go to that bit at the end of the score, and let's see if we can make this look any tidier in Guitar Pro 8. Now, I've not tried this yet, but I want to see what we can do with this. So my first thought is, well, okay, let's create a little bit more space for these notes to do their thing by moving the end up. Let me flip that. And again, I'm just going to move these notes over a little bit. I know what I'm needing to do. I'm needing to create more space for these grace notes to fit in. I like to flip my grace notes. I like them to match directions. Now I can bring this up without having to cover up any of that notation information. The two flats in the next to the note, I don't want to lose that. It does seem odd to me, because you can obviously select the grace note in terms of flipping it. It is a piece of information on the score, but we can't alter it in design mode, which is definitely a shame. Okay, so let's move that right up to the bar line like that. This is looking much better. Move this across, tidy this up, flip our grace notes. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, there's no comparison. Like, just what I've done here has immediately made this transcription look better. Now, if I turn design mode off, to my eyes, this looks much, much tidier, much tidier. I can see what's going on in this. And if I jump back to that Guitar Pro 7 file, which we have over here, let me close it and reopen it because I don't want to open recent. There we go. If I compare that to this that we have down at the bottom here, this is really messy. And then, in fact, if I do a side-by-side comparison for you, and I know a lot of you guys are going to be looking at it and saying, well, that's a tiny little detail, Levi. You're absolutely right. It's a tiny, tiny detail. But this over here looks a world better than this. I would never have been comfortable printing this in a book, but sometimes we've had to do it because that was all the software allowed. This immediately looks better. It looks more professional. Guitar Pro 8 is a more professional option for you if you're looking to have ultimate control over your score while still maintaining all of the ability to have your audio files in there, because throughout all of this, I have got that audio synced in there. Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely love it. So that is the new and improved design mode in Guitar Pro 8. It gives you a ton more functionality, loads more control that you have over these things. And some of you may consider that super, super nerdy, but caring about the way notation looks is the thing that sets me apart from somebody who has no experience in notation, right? Caring about the way my products look has always given you guys the best product. I mean, you know, when we look at notation like this, we expect it to be, you can't see it because too much light, but we expect it to be perfect. That was written by somebody musically literate. I think when you're publishing products, when you're selling products to people, whether their or not their level of musical literacy is as high as it could or should be, shouldn't matter. You should be giving them things that are as accurate as possible. If somebody wasn't great at speaking English, you wouldn't go, oh, cool, I just won't spell check the book that I'm selling for them. Or we won't spell check the newspaper. It doesn't matter. People understand. No, we want things to be as professional as they can, and this gives us some of that functionality. So big thank you to the guys over at the Guitar Pro team for this, because I am very impressed. Lastly, I just want to say a huge thank you to my wonderful supporters over on Patreon. I could not do all of this stuff without your love, kindness, and support. So if you want to get access to my weekly guided practice routines or weekly guided ear training sessions, if you want to download hundreds of Guitar Pro transcriptions that I have uploaded for you guys over there on my Patreon page, that's the place to do it. You can also get access to all of my social feeds, my private groups, and if that doesn't suit you, can also head on over to Amazon, check out one of my many books. I have lots of them available. I'm proud of all of them, and I'll be honest, I wish I could go back and tweak them all in Guitar Pro 8 now, but they are there, they do exist, so thank you for checking those out. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. If you do have any questions, please do let me know in that comment section below. I have been Levi Clay, you have been awesome, and I will see you for another video soon. Goodbye.